Coming up on today's newscast, how the Loyola community is reacting to the admissions scandal at some universities, find out what changes may be coming for those who vape, and why some neighbors are upset about the newest addition to Loyola's Lakeshore campus.
From the Convergence Studio in the School of Communication, this is Loyola News Chicago.
Welcome to Loyola News Chicago. I'm Annie Kate Raglow.
And I'm Queenie Ama. Here's this week's news. We start today with a big cheating scandal involving college admissions. While Loyola isn't involved, people here told Loyola News reporter Michael McDevitt they are outraged.
They're accused of being involved in bribery schemes to get their kids into elite schools. 50 people, celebrities, parents, CEOs, coaches, and college administrators, all charged as part of the largest college admissions fraud scandal in the nation's history. While Loyola isn't named in any of the Justice Department's charging documents, which were released Tuesday, some people in the community said they're still outraged.
They already have money and prestige and access to all kinds of other things. Why did they need to pay for their kids to go to these elite colleges?
Institutions that have these reputable, these good reputations and are seemingly very elite and very difficult to get into perhaps, or are admitting some of the most high-performing students around the country, are participating in these very unethical admissions practices.
And I think definitely those kids should be expelled. You get into the school that you can make it in. That's it. You know, that's it. You know, and, you know, I mean, I have a daughter that went to school here. She didn't get in here because I knew anybody. She got in here because she earned her place in here.
Two students at Stanford University in California have also already sought a class action lawsuit against the university for its alleged involvement in the scandal. They say that now their degrees are worthless because no one's going to be able to tell if they cheated to get into the university or not. Michael McDevitt, Loyola News, Chicago.
Two students suing Stanford are Erica Olson and Kalia Woods. They filed a lawsuit today because of several concerns. They worry that future employers will question whether their degrees are valid or if they were earned through the bribery. Two other students were found to be part of the scandal at two Chicago universities. And Northwestern, the students' parents allegedly paid up to $80,000 to help their daughter cheat on entrance exams. William Singer, a CEO of a college admissions prep company, allegedly donated $150,000 to DePaul while his son was enrolled there. Northwestern and DePaul have policies that may cause both students to be expelled.
It appears that sexual violence on campus is more pervasive than many may have thought. Loyola is required by law to tell the Attorney General the outcomes of its on-campus sexual violence incidents. There were 15 of them in 2016. But in documents obtained by the Loyola Phoenix, the university notes to the AG that most sexual violence happens in off-campus apartments, 55 in 2016. Loyola didn't need to legally share that, but did so anyways. Loyola officials said these Attorney General reports may be made public in the future. But the National Sexual Assault Resource Center reports that 90% of victims on college campuses do not report their assaults at all. Jussie Smollett has pled not guilty to lying to the police today at a Cook County court. In January, the Empire actor said he was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack in Chicago. But prosecutors say he faked it for attention and because he was unhappy with his salary. Smollett is now charged with 16 counts of disorderly conduct, and he is free on a $100,000 bond. Smollett will be written off the last 2 episodes of the Fox TV show's season, according to Empire showrunners.
According to police data, crimes on the CTA stops nearly doubled since 2014. In fact, there has already been 90 crimes on the CTA since January 1st of this year. A recent attack on the platform left the victim with a gash on his shoulder all the way to the bone, ending up in the hospital with multiple stitches. There are currently 32,000 cameras installed on the stops that record everything from every angle, and there will be 1,000 more cameras installed this year. Vaping and juuling have become a common sight on campus. The government worries that marketing for these products appeals to young adults. The FDA blames the fruity flavors for the epidemic of teen vaping. Mint, menthol, and tobacco flavors will remain on shelves where jewels are sold, but more kid-friendly flavors like mango have been pulled. Juul was originally marketed as a safer alternative to adult smoking, but ultimately, young adults picked up on this new trend. Teens are now more likely to smoke e-cigarettes than normal cigarettes, and boys are 2 times more likely to vape than girls.
Now we continue our series on Loyola's on-campus housing crisis. We recently reported on the overflowing residence halls with no room for everyone who wants to live on campus. In our follow-up report, we look at construction on the school's newest dorm to house more students next fall. But Carla Rogner reports on why it has been causing some tension in the Rogers Park neighborhood.
Construction is well underway to build St. Joseph's Hall on Winthrop Avenue at Loyola's Lakeshore campus. But the university's plans to demolish 2 historic buildings in the process quickly caught attention of neighborhood groups. The Edgewater Historical Society wanted to save both a 100-year-old house and especially a 9-story apartment building from demolition.
It was somewhat unprecedented to see a structure of that size and significance be torn down to make way for another development.
John Holden has been a member of the Historical Society for 6 years. He says he wishes Loyola would have been more transparent about its plans.
There was never any discussion with the community about this. This plan was presented to the community essentially as a fait accompli.
The Historical Society held a protest in December along with other local groups to share their unhappiness with Loyola. But the demolitions proceeded. The new $47 million residence hall will house more than 400 students in a time when Loyola is struggling to find room for everyone who wants to live on campus. The Historical Society recognizes Loyola's need for additional housing, but Holden says the demolitions could have been avoided regardless.
They could have built a taller building that would have accommodated the same number of units while also preserving the other 2 properties, or at least one of the other 2 properties, to make that a reality.
Loyola is addressing the group's concerns by salvaging items from the buildings and minimizing dust at the construction site. The university also hosted a town hall with the Edgewater aldermen to discuss the group's concerns, but the Historical Society said the decision had already been made by then. Carla Rogner, Loyola News, Chicago.
The new residence hall is named St. Joseph's after another Jesuit institution in Philadelphia. It will be suite style and is intended to house around 400 freshmen. We now have an update on our first report of Loyola's housing crisis. Last time we met with Loyola junior Vanessa Reese. She was concerned about getting on campus housing for her senior year, but it turns out she had some luck on her side. When the housing lottery numbers were released, Vanessa learned she got number 6. That means she was the 6th person to pick a place to live for next year. Last year, 250 upperclassmen were placed on the deferred list instead of getting lottery numbers. This year, Vanessa was one of the lucky ones.
Coming up next, we'll hear whether people on campus are in mourning over the Ramblers.
And Chicago gets ready for one of the biggest celebrations of the year. We'll be right back.
Crazy.
That was fun.
Crazy. You got some killer dance moves. You're tearing up that dance floor.
You weren't too by yourself.
Nah, I try. So what are you trying to do now? I don't live too far. Go back to my place, have a beer?
I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yo! What's up, Brandy? Crazy seeing you here.
Oh, what's up? How you been?
Nothing, just some slapjacks. Probably just gonna head home and kick it. Yeah, so who do we have here?
Oh, my bad, dude. We just met. This is Stacy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yo, Randy, you might want to double check who you're bringing home tonight. She might not be who you think she is.
What are you talking about? She's beautiful. All right, step aside, homie. I'm gonna go home, enjoy the rest of my night. Stacy, let's go.
Are you ready for that fun surprise tomorrow morning? Know Your Limits, sponsored by the state of Illinois.
This week's headline of the Loyola Phoenix says it all: Arch Sadness. The Loyola Ramblers will not be competing in the NCAA tournament after last week's loss to Bradley. Reporter Sajida Al-Khazaleh spoke to some Loyola students about the Ramblers' heartbreaking loss.
Was booming as students celebrated the men's basketball team's Arch Madness victory. But last week, the Ramblers fell short to Bradley University by only 2 points. Some students wish the season didn't have to end so soon.
Because, our school had so much energy from it, and now we're done, so it was something to look forward to, but we still have next year.
It's really sad, and they just like brought so much, like they brought our community together at Loyola, so it's always great to see them succeed, so obviously very sad.
But not everyone we talk to is disappointed by the loss.
People always ask me when I tell them I go to Loyola, like, the Blurs, the basketball, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. So now people are gonna stop asking me that question, and I'm so excited to have real conversations about things.
Although Loyola won't be in the NCAA tournament, they will be competing in the National Invitation Tournament as a result of becoming conference champions. Sajida Al-Khazaleh, Loyola News, Chicago.
The National Invitation Tournament will begin on March 19th. We'll find out who Loyola is competing against by Sunday.
Chicago is ranked the 107th happiest place to live out of 182 cities, according to a personal financing website called Wallet Hub. Now, happy is measured differently to everyone, but one thing that scientists link happy to is joy people get from others, such as family and friends, activities, or work. In addition to that, where you live plays a huge role in that too. The site filters each city through 31 key indicators that range from weather, social status, income, and more.
We're coming up on one of the favorite holidays of the year in Chicago. St. Patrick's Day is this weekend. Wallet Hub has named Chicago the best city to celebrate St. Patrick's Day this year. One of Chicago's St. Patty's Day trademarks is dyeing the Chicago River green. The tradition began in 1962 as a way to detect pollution in the river. 57 years later, the ceremony gets mixed reviews from Chicago residents.
Last year was the first time I was here for it, and it was a pretty incredible sight to see.
I mean, it seems like a cool tradition, but I don't really know how it affects like the ecology of the river. Like, I don't know. Does it do something bad to the river? No one talks about it.
The Chicago River will be dyed green at 9 o'clock Saturday morning. The crew will start near Michigan Avenue and Columbus Drive.
Any plans for this weekend?
I have a kegs and eggs party, and hopefully I'll make it to the river after.
Do you have a plus one? Because I think I'm going to join you.
Yeah, come along.
Awesome. That's all for our news today. Thanks for joining us.
And have a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day. We'll see you next week.